Hello, mech fans, and welcome, once again to the Gundam Roundtable. I, of course, am Ironcaster, or for the holidays, Frankencaster. Though, we should probably fix that, because I was talking some spooky stuff yesterday.
It was fun.
I was going to say, keep it. I'll change mine.
Tis the season.
This is Halloween. This is
Halloween.
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 Apparently, this is the 13 Nights of Mechaween.
Yeah.
Oh, that didn't sound right.
I had to try. I regret nothing.
That's good. Should have no regrets in life. So how are you, Chris?
Oh, not too bad. Just got home after a surprisingly short experience in the DMV to renew my license and get a driver's license that basically says that I am an American citizen on it, in a sense. It's my future driver's license is supposed to have a star on it that basically says, oh yeah, this guy, he is an American citizen, so if he tries to travel anywhere, he's good to come in and out of the country.
Yeah, the verified license.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got me one of those.
It's the Twitter check mark of licenses.
Basically, yeah.
That's just sad. It's just sad that we have to do that.
It's a mad, mad world.
But at least we get to talk about Gundam today.
Yes, we do. A very exciting episode indeed. This was Ramba Rawl's Attack.
This is probably arguably the best episode in Gundam.
Ooh.
Certainly one of the best ones in the last,
at least
10 episodes.
At least in the series. It's arguably the best episode.
Right. At its core, it's a character-driven episode. It's very much between, small pockets of character meets character and personalities clash.
And also we get some pretty fun action out of it.
That we do. And there's a surprising standout character this episode. And we'll get to when we get to that point.
Spoiler
That's
alert.
right. Kai's the big hero today.
Spoiler alert, it's actually Haro.
Oh. I tell you what, if we get to that point, we all disagree about who the standout character is, I will be shocked.
All right. So, since both Chris and I have thrown out ours, what are you gonna throw out for the surprise character?
I'll wait. I'll wait till we get through the actual story.
Surprise! It's Domon.
Yeah.
Because everything goes back to G Gundam.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, as we've stated before, this is Ramba Rawl's Attack. We begin with Amuro wandering in the desert in a makeshift hooded cloak. He comes across a camp consisting of an old man who directs him to a nearby small town wherein he could find water. Meanwhile, the White Base crew are performing repairs. Bright asks Ryu if he's in consensus with everybody else, not unlike what we were just having, regarding Amuro. Ryu asks if they're thinking of Amuro separately from the Gundam. But Bright responds by saying that when the Gundam comes back, all the talk will be about Amuro. Ryu says he'll hold his opinion until he finds out how Amuro is at that time.
So we get a little bit of that, Amuro of Arabia, and it's always nice to be able to actually get to see them having the time to actually do repairs. So there's not just the sense of the White Base is invincible and it never has any downtime.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't need to stop. It doesn't need to stop and do some repairs. And I mean, they're doing as you can see, they're doing a lot of work, including they're actually having the gun cannon help with parts in place of other heavy machinery that's supposedly designated for that kind of work.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We even got the orphans going to work.
Indeed. Yes,
yes,
that was
they did.
surprising. Literally whitewashing the ship.
Hey, I mean, those orphans, people may not like them entirely, but they are useful. They have been useful in the past.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a small crawl. We got crawl space. We got to have some small bodies crawl into. Let's send the
Just-
orphans.
Just avoid the cut wires that may be sparking a little bit.
Don't worry. Next week we're teaching them how to deal with the electronics.
Shocker.
what-
They actually
first-
kind of do that later on in the show. Or not the
Spoiler!
show, but series. They do that. They actually kind of do that a little bit later on in the series, in another series.
Mhm. So moving on. Amuro has found a small restaurant in the town and sits at a bar, chewing a piece of stale bread. Haman soon walks in with a large group of soldiers, including Ramba Rawl. Rawl tells his men to have one last big meal before the big attack, and tells the restaurant owner that they'll try to fight outside of the neutral town. Noticing Amuro, Haman offers to buy a meal for him, with Ramba Rawl edging her slightly, or nudging. Braubo, meanwhile, is driving across the desert in her jeep, still in pursuit of Amuro. She comes to the town and notices that the Xeon transport is marked there. In the restaurant, Amuro walks up to Haman, thanking her for the meal, but telling her that he can't accept. Ramba laughs heartily and informs Amuro that it's quite a thing to be liked by Haman. The other men agree, and Rawl offers the meal to Amuro himself, to which he still politely disagrees. So I want to stop here and ask the two of you if you think that Haman was being particularly cougary.
Oh yes.
She may still have her heart for Rumbarall, but she obviously does take a liking to the young men.
Actually, go back to that. I need a blue uniform now.
As soon as he said he's a little young for you, don't you think? I was like immediately my mind jumped to. I'm like, yep, that's cougar territory.
Yeah, those red flags are starting to what? Why do they sound so casual about this? Is this just like part of their normal relationship?
Hey man, some people are like that.
And
No judge.
something else that we talked about earlier in the show, when Rumbarall and Haman come to Earth in the first place, is another thing that's commented by Haman when she enters the incident, is that she makes a comment of how different she thought the Earth was going to be, and about how being in the current environment, which is like desert, is so different from what she experienced in the colonies. And that just harkens back to this difference between Earthborn, or Earthnoids as they're called in the UC calendar, and Space Noids, or at least the residents of Side 3. Especially for Side 3, because something I read up is that when they constructed the colonies, there's a different style for each of them. Side 1 and Side 2 had open windows on their colonies, but they were of questionable structure integrity. So in order to correct this, when they constructed Side 3, they made them closed colonies. So basically it's just a metal cylinder. There's no windows, there's no outside viewing from inside the colony. And in later editions with Side 4, Side 5, Side 6, and Side 7, they made those open colonies, again, because they had a better means of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, a residence of Side 7, of Moonzo, of the Moonzo cluster of colonies, coming to Earth and seeing the different environments is a bit of a shocker. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I assume coming from any colony to a terrestrial planet like Earth would just be like stepping on to an alien world, especially when you consider the varied, ecological systems that exist on Earth just in and of itself.
And also the residents of the various colonies, their environments are controlled. And actually, in 0080 War in the Pocket, and also in the non-conical origins, they talk about how the colony administration, or the officials in the colonies, they control when rain happens, when actually I think
Well, even in this show so far, we've seen how many of them were reacting to a thunderstorm. How you had many of the Federation soldiers thought that it was a Xeon weapon,
and vice versa.
Mhm.
And then another thing that Ironcaster kind of pointed out that he heard from
the agent.
about this episode is, go back a little bit so we can get a view of all the soldiers.
Let me.
If you notice, the soldiers, they have a more slightly darker complexion, but Rumbarall and Lady Hammond, they are of lighter complexion. And I made this comment, is that if going back to medieval times and also up to the Age of Enlightenment, someone who had of a darker complexion was seen as of lower class. Because they would have to be outside and work in the sun and everything. Someone of lighter complexion was seen as an elite, an aristocrat. They would even paint their skin white with lead-based products. That never didn't age well. And to make themselves even look paler, so that they could show how high up in the aristocracy they are. And that kind of shows here that Rumbarall and Lady Hammond are of higher class than their soldiers. Especially because if you know anything about the Rawls, they were among the early elites who helped with the rise of the Republic of Zeon prior to Zeon Zundaiku's death. In which case they were then purged by the Zabis from the government.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is a bit more of that aristocratic, even just decision with the colors of the skins, and that was a pretty interesting little tidbit to pick up on.
Yeah, it's a nice attention to detail in terms of the world building.
And also, this waiter here, he makes a comment that remember, what was the country that he referred to? This is a fictional Middle Eastern, Middle Asian, Mid-Asian or Central Asian country, Sudan, or something like that. And he basically says, this country is neutral in your war. Please keep the violence to a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's also the matter of English translations that can oftentimes get mistaken when crossing language barriers. I mean, we've all heard the great speeches by Shar talking about the Tetons.
Well, there's also New York.
Mm-hmm. And the Big Canyon.
Oh, it's just thick accents.
Yeah. I mean,
Boston.
In a sense, they're still in Central Europe. I mean, in a sense, they're not in North Africa,
right?
So, or not Central Europe, Central Asia.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the stands apparently no longer exist, and they've now formed a new country.
Stanistan.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to move on a little bit.
Yeah, we can move up a little bit.
Interrupting. One of the soldiers posted outside comes in, holding Frau captive. Hammond quickly notices that Frau is wearing a Federation uniform and speculates on whether or not she's Amuro's girlfriend. Rawl holds up Amuro's cape, revealing the gun he's carrying underneath, and tells Amuro he's even more impressed with him now. He says to Amuro that things would be different on the battlefield, and lets him and Fraubo go. As soon as they leave, He orders one of his men to follow them. Outside, Frau tries to convince Amuro to come back to the White Base, but he refuses and leaves her once they hit the edge of town. Amuro refuses to admit any regret for deserting White Base, and Frau leaves off in a huff. Rawl's spy follows her and finds the White Base, notifying Ramba Rawl and his men, who begin to prepare to sortie.
One of the little details I did appreciate seeing in this, which I didn't catch in the screenshots, but the scout here winds up shutting the engine off and he goes in silent.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that little attention to detail I thought was a good catch by the.
I mean, especially in a canyon where sound waves can bounce around off the walls very easily.
Yep.
So he turns off the engine and drops the motorcycle and then continues running the rest of the way.
Right, especially because bikes are surprisingly loud. What with no mufflers and two-stroke engine usually not quiet things on their own.
No.
So one thing I do notice here is that for all Amuro's talk of Bright not understanding tactics and being, incompetent at command, he doesn't even for a second think
Are they following us?
Yeah, and leaving behind his enemy that they might send someone after them. Doesn't even think about that.
No.
Doesn't even appear to cross his mind.
No, guys, it's Amuro. Clearly, he's been making all the right decisions.
Mm-hmm.
He can do nothing wrong. Amuro is our savior.
Yeah,
I mean, it's even in the theme song.
I half expected when he got out of the car to be just, okay, I'm going to go pull my pistol and wait and see if someone's coming. But that wasn't the case, and I was very disappointed in him.
Hello, Apollonies. And hello, Truck Dog.
Truck Dog!
Hello, Truck Dog.
Though.
Truck Dog is super cute. Very adorable dog.
So, is there anything else we wanted to touch on here before we moved on?
I think we can advance.
Nothing I can think of.
Just real quick, actually, think about it. I like the imagery of the White Base hiding among these old ruins, which I guess would be somewhere in Greece.
Actually, after the fall of Greece itself, the last known Greek holdout was the Kingdom of Bactria in Central Asia. It's present day Afghanistan, and
okay. That would make sense just based on the geography.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you are right. The last few times that the White Base has had to make cover like this, they make very good use of the terrain and the various ruins they find themselves in to cover and hide the ship. It's something they're consistently good at.
Yeah, I mean that's why in what was it, the Winds of War was it episode where they're flying down the Grand Canyon, and that's to concentrate the luminosity particles above the White Base, so as to deter radar-seeking missiles. Or
radar guarded missiles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, you mean the Big Canyon.
Yes.
But and also when they were, again, hiding out in Seattle.
Or New York.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, again, that's something they're consistently good at. Carrying on. Back at the White Base, Frau gives the rest of the crew an update on Amuro. She also tells them about the Xeon mobile suits that she saw. Mirai tells Bright that they should suspend operations and take up positions to intercept, to which Bright agrees. Mirai also gently reprimands Frau for sneaking away to go find Amuro without first asking permission. Back in the town, Rawl and his unit depart for the battlefield. Amuro thinks about Ramba and Haman, wondering if they were the adversary's White Base crew has been fighting all this time. Just then, the Goof and two Zaku 2s pass directly overhead. Amuro realizes, to his horror, that they followed Frau and are now heading directly for the white base. He quickly unearths the Gundam from the hill in which he had buried it and proceeds to fly off in hopes of arriving in time.
Sand
in the mechanics.
Mm,
When we
Yeah.
get to 8th MS team, people will understand our cringe at sand and mobile suits.
Or really anyone who's experienced anything with engines and
Yeah.
sand.
Any-
Anakin
anyone
was
that's-
right to hate it.
Anyone that's been on a beach knows sand gets everywhere you don't want it to go.
Yes, it does.
There's also the
But,
fact
you know-
that he's unearthing this entire thing, the entire suit covered in sand with his bare hands. It would take him a lot longer than they're letting on for that to be effective.
A 50-foot robot buried
Yeah.
in the sand.
Even if you're just uncovering like the cockpit in order to not get any in there, that would take a not insignificant amount of time.
It's coarse, it's gritty, it gets everywhere.
Yes, it does.
Oh, and also,
Yep.
Carrying on.
yep, carrying on.
The gun cannon and gun tank have been launched into battle. Bright orders White Base to take off. Mirai complies, but can't quite get the ship off the ground. Ryu, Hayato, and Kai vow to do what they can to keep any of Ramba Rawl's men from getting to the base, but the gun tank quickly has its tank treads damaged, immobilizing it. Hayato convinces Ryu to head out in the core fighter to find Amuro and force ejects the top half of the gun tank.
Which I didn't realize that was an option they had all along.
I mean, I don't think it's ever been in this scenario before. I think it's always been at least mobile, if not, out of ammo.
Yeah, I mean, we already have in previous episodes we have already heard of how on the white base at least how they would have to transfer the core block from one mobile suit to another if they needed to. So I mean, I think what was it? They talked about how they were going to swap Amuro out of from gun tank or gun cannon into the Gundam if they need to.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're actually
Right.
seeing the mechanism in action.
Yeah. So this is very clearly an emergency situation, and Hayato is making a command decision in the field and saying, "Look, I have at least the ability to fire in a single direction. Just go." And he uses this option that he, otherwise didn't have to use. Also, it's a good excuse to show off. Here's what you can do with the toys we're going to expect you to buy.
Yes.
Of course. Buy now. For $19.99.
Though this is in later editions of the gun cannon, like the gun cannon Mark II, the mass-produced gun cannon and everything, they do remove the core block. So, I mean, it's now one machine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is strictly a prototypical thing.
Yes. If I remember correctly, the gun tank was actually the first of the Federation's mobile suits before they moved on to the gun cannon and the Gundam.
Yep. I think we discussed that in previous episodes.
Yes, we did.
Hey, call back.
Watch our previous episodes to find out what we're talking about.
Check the playlist.
Let's continue on just a little bit more, and then I'll talk about the surprise standout character of the episode for me. As Ryu flies overhead, he finds Amuro in a heated battle with the Gallop. Amuro is successful in damaging the Gallop just as Ryu arrives and tells him to help out the White Base. Mirai, meanwhile, is able to get the White Base to fully take off, and the engines, under full throttle, destroy one of the Zaku's pursuing them. Rawl jumps on White Base soon after with his goof, however, and starts attacking it. Mirai, in a spate of brilliance, manages to throw off the goof by performing a barrel roll with the giant carrier. And with these last two maneuvers, Mirai is the standout character of the episode for me. Like, she's come up with not one, not two, but three instances where her
Methods.
tactical thinking is like on point.
Are you going to strap
ask you,
down? No, I'm not going to strap down.
Right? Yeah.
Yes,
She's like,
Chris, I kept this in here for you.
So everyone enjoy the kids having a fun time playing house in a bouncy house without the bouncy parts.
yeah, with the
Hayato is less
hard
impressed,
bits.
apparently.
No, but even then they're like, yeah, so yeah, okay, we can strap down, but what about you? And she's like, I'll be fine, just do it. So she's not only intelligent in the moment, but brave as well. So
She must be like holding on to the steering yoke.
She must have incredible upper arm strength to maintain her body as she's so upside down.
I mean,
Yeah.
part of me is thinking that she has her legs wrapped around the thing as she's hanging upside down.
yeah, she did something.
I choose to think she lifts.
It's either that or the wheel locks out at some point. So she just locks it out and then like hangs on for dear life. And then as she gets back to normal, she corrects.
Hmm.
Either way, Mirai is a standout character of the episode for me.
Yeah.
It's not a bad one. It's in all seriousness, mine is Ramba. But
Understandable.
that, I mean, you made a couple good points there. That she's definitely a tactical mind in this. That is, I think, really overlooked by a lot of people.
Because she's quiet and reserved, but Bright takes her advice very seriously on more than one occasion, and now we see why.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's practically his second in command.
I was about to say the same thing. She is basically the second in command of the White Base, and a little bit of a spoiler alert: she actually temporarily does take command of the White Base in a future episode.
Yay!
All right, nice.
Women in charge.
Hey, women proving that they are worthy of it,
Yes.
and not just by virtue of the fact that they're women, but because they have actual skills that are applicable to the situation at hand.
Yeah.
That's how you're supposed to do it, Hollywood.
Proven skills.
Merit.
You see? Yeah, this is how it's done.
Meritocracy.
So, back to it.
Back to it. Ramba Ral focuses his efforts on the gun cannon and is quickly able to overtake Kai. Amuro soon arrives, and the Gundam and the Goof do battle once again.
That shot. Overtake Kai, and then also we see the Goof tripping over the gun cannon.
Which, maybe one of these days Kai will quit crying. Although I'd be disappointed to see him no longer crying and getting shown up. Oh, let's shoot. That's right. I wound up saving like a bunch of these. Hang on.
Oh, be careful too, because remember what happened last time?
Yes. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Well, there was one particular screenshot I just had to get.
Two, actually, because because they were just absolutely.
Look, Chris and I were howling last night watching this. Like, oh yes, get that scene.
And it's the Goof just leaning out of the way of that shot of that beam energy weapon shot.
What's the Blue Harvest, the Family Guy? What defensive maneuvers? You just leaned lazily to the left.
Oh my God, where do they go? they're going slightly to the left. Follow them quickly.
It's like I don't even need my shield. I'm just gonna
just lean.
Yep.
He's a smooth criminal.
Now I need to see that. Just someone take Gunpla and do the whole smooth criminal routine with him.
Oh, there probably is one out there somewhere. Maybe.
Probably.
Oh shoot! Of course. Hang on.
We also have another shot that's very much similar, where he just kind of kneels down.
Meanwhile, Amuro just cannot fathom that someone could just.
He's got piloting abilities that are beyond 9,000.
That is almost. Oh, that's memeable. That's absolutely memeable. That's over 9,000. I'll just continue on a little bit since we're already on this scene.
And again,
the Goof's computer is able to easily dodge Amuro's precise shots at it. Amuro switches to
Oh,
the beam
geez.
saber, and the goof drops its shield, revealing a beam scimitar.
Me. God, I freaking love the close-ups on Ron Morel. He looks badass in the helmet. It's like they took the time, they took the effort to really add the extra detail to these shots.
Yes.
Okay, so real quick, I did a little search, and there is a stop motion of Gundam doing Michael Jackson dances.
Wait till the end. That's going to be an excellent closer for this.
Oh, wait.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that music, though, might be a problem.
Yeah, we can't do the music, unfortunately.
Well, just talk over it. Well, it depends. If it's the actual song, yes, but
Yes, it is.
okay. So
Yeah, no, we're not gonna play those games this time.
you just play it in the background and then do and they just do it like that, like a cappella. Perfect.
Like I'm still caught up on this. Like they added the glare to the glass for his helmet.
Yeah, that's really cool. Nice touch of detail.
Oh, that's a good shot too. Actually, I like that.
My one question is, how in the world is the beam saber conducting electricity into the Gundam?
Yeah, I don't know. My better question is the heat whip is stored in the arm, right? There's
Yes.
not enough space in that arm for all that heat whip. I don't know where it goes.
Timey-wimey
Spacey
his
wacy.
space stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think all that like venting tubes around him is for?
Yes.
That would make sense, but it doesn't. It just doesn't flow that way. It's just something I noticed. It's like, oh yeah, it comes out of the forearm. It's like that's a really long whip. That's got to coil up somewhere, and there's not enough space in the forearm for it. It's just something I noticed.
Maybe when it coils up into the arm, it kind of
Like telescopes.
telescopes. Maybe it deflates. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Questions.
Also, it
Because-
keeps getting cut, and he keeps having plenty more to use.
I mean, think of it sort of like you remember Batman Begins, when Morgan Freeman's character shows Bruce Wayne the fabric that when you run electricity through it, it becomes stiff and
Right.
expands.
Yes.
So, I mean,
What do they
That's what I
call
was
it?
gonna-
The memory weave or something like that.
yeah,
As a memory foam mattress.
yeah, yes.
So now we get the glimpse of the brilliant beam scimitar that the goof uses to slice the Gundam's shield in half, and both mobile suits damage the other one, slicing open their cockpits and revealing their destined to die pilots.
And it's not just like, oh, a cut, like, oh no, we get the badass like cut right down the middle
Yeah, the can
with
opener.
them having to like
Just-
push the charred melting like metal out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, the Goof's camera is basically damaged and also his monitors too. So I mean, he can't see anything.
Yeah, these become like open top at this point. Really nice scene.
And I think this is a really cool scene for Rumbarall. That is molten metal, and he is pushing it out of the way.
Mhm. He's trusting his suit for that.
Yeah, but even with this, he's not stopping. He's gonna keep going in.
Mhm.
It's fighting, and then we get the it's like such an iconic shot that we wound up even seeing at the preview for the episode.
Yes, yeah.
And also in video games too.
Yeah, this little parry maneuver. What's great though is it doesn't stop him. He's like, okay,
Oh,
I don't
no.
have any arms, and he just like shoulder rams him immediately.
It's nothing but a
I've got
flesh
shoulder
wound.
spikes,
It's nothing
Yeah.
but a flesh wound.
but even with that, like, Amuro goes in to not wanting to, lose. It's like, oh, let's go puncture the
Reactor.
reactor. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Rawl takes the opportunity as Amuro pulls away to grapple onto his cockpit and escape. That's an awesome piece of work right there. Like the sheer reaction time you have to have for that to nail that shot.
Aim for the crotch.
Yeah, basically.
Yes.
And then he escapes just in the nick of time as the goof explodes. Although he's thrown to the ground pretty hard from the force of the explosion. Not saying he should have been injured, but
I did mention that Ramba should have had a refrigerator.
Yes, the lead-lined refrigerator.
Because that is a nuclear explosion, basically, a small nuclear explosion.
Basically, yeah.
So, I mean, there's obviously a lot of radiation being thrown out there.
I need to make use of this. I think
I
just need to add this. I think you need to crop out Rob Morale's face and add it in the little banner piece in the top left in the top right corner. Just Ramba maybe. Just judging us.
Yeah.
Put it as an overlay.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice. So after Raul escapes, he tells Amuro that they'll meet again, but that he owes all of his success in this battle to Gundam's power before he escapes. Amuro helps to retrieve the other vehicles and is promptly thrown into solitary confinement once he returns to White Base.
Welcome back. Slam.
And he's just like, wait a minute, what? No, please stop, don't.
What do you mean? Aren't you guys glad to see me?
Repercussions for my actions? What are you talking about? I pilot the Gundam.
Right? I'm the best pilot for Gundam. Remember, else coming back. You need me.
It's like, yeah, you might be the best, but we have others.
Yeah, we've got Ryu, and if all else fails, Hayato or Kai.
I love this. Is what we need. We need the series of judging faces.
Yeah. We just God, that even sucks. It's like even Kai gets to get in those jabs.
It's a lovely thing. Not that Kai hasn't had his fair share of chewing out, but yes, Bright, Ryu, and Kai all chew Amuro out, particularly after he arrogantly claims that he'll simply have to have him fly in the Gundam again the next time Ramba Raul attacks. Amuro calls out to Sayla, trying to get her to listen to him to absolutely no avail. He starts crying to himself in his cell and thinking of what Ramba Raul declares that he must defeat him. And we close the episode.
I think this is another really good moment here, where in a way Amuro is basically brought to that low point even after this success. He goes from that high immediately to this low.
Yeah. This is like you said, this is Amuro's low point. From this point on, he has nowhere else to go but up. I mean, this is when he actually learns you can't disobey your commander. You cannot go all gung-ho and do it yourself. You are a part of a team. You are part of this family, and you need to work together as such. The White Base does its best job when it works as a unit, as one unit, and if one part of that unit is not in its place, the whole thing falls apart, which we almost see here. If it wasn't for Amuro showing up, the White Base would have been destroyed.
Yeah. I had likened it yesterday to Amuro as being LeBron James. That he's sort of going off as this kind of gung-ho ace pilot. I'm leading the team. I'm piloting the Gundam. And we've seen him over the last month of doing this, where he's going and calling shots and making these decisions that go against what is best for the whole team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I'm gonna attack the Zeon base. I'm gonna attack the Zeon mine in the gun tank.
And when things get a little rough, he walks off the court,
and he takes the ball with him.
Yep. This is an analogy I did not expect to be this accurate. It's pretty accurate.
It is.
I was just gonna say someone should have told this kid that one shit uses up all your attaboys.
Yeah. Well, at this point, if I mean, it's pretty obvious. Amuro learns from this point on, and all he can do now is mature
Mhm.
and become a man. I mean, otherwise, this is a very short show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they've
And
shattered his illusion, right? They
Mm.
just flat out said, no, what you think is the case is not the case, and no amount of you saying it is going to make it true.
It's that smack of reality that I was talking about in earlier episodes, where that he gets. That does show him, yeah, that's you aren't the center of the universe. You are part of something much more.
Yeah. At the very least, you're part of a unit, and we need to work as such. And I think, as you're saying now, he's finally understanding that.
yeah, and plus they're basically threatening to take away his toy.
Mhm.
Like, you're gonna need me to pile a Gundam. Well, you're gonna sit in the brig for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll pull you out when we need you.
And I mean, the white base. I mean, yes, Amuro is the best pilot on for the Gundam, but that kind of arrogance is not needed because, like we all said, him calling his own shots instead of relying on his commander, his commanding officer, Bright, on his and relying on his promises, or at least bringing attention things that could be alternative methods. It's not that's not how you do it. I mean, Ironcaster brought this up about an episode from Star Trek that he that was done where what Data confronted Commander Wolf about how Commander Wolf has been kind of hostile in public against him.
Yeah, there was an episode where Data had to take over the command, and Worf had to act as his first officer. And Worf was being hostile, and was openly showing that disrespect in front of the crew against his orders.
Mhm.
And Data politely took him aside and told him, "When I give an order, you have to follow it. You have to help enforce the chain of command. And if you can't do that, I'll bust you back down, and I'll get someone else who can."
But
All right. So, what did you guys rate this episode now that we've torn it apart pretty thoroughly?
I think this is gonna be a 10. This easily, like, one, the great build up where we have Amuro, meeting his enemy in a more neutral locale, and he's shown a bit of hospitality, and when they do get around to fighting, he winds up learning from him. He's shown that he can't just rely on the Gundam. He has to fall upon his own skill.
I tend to agree. I think there are several fan favorite characters of the series that are fleshed out very well, including some details that there are blink and you miss it moments, such as in the beginning with Haman and with Mirai, as I pointed out, that I'm surprised you guys didn't. Well, I mean, you agreed, but I wonder how many other people caught up on that, in the wider sphere of things. But combat was good, iconic scenes. And
go back to the one scene where Amuro is after Rumbarol cuts the Gundam shield in half, and Amuro is up in the air.
We'll find this.
Is anyone keeping a running destroyed shield count? I wonder what
Yeah,
we're up
actually,
to.
we have been talking about it yesterday when we were watching the show.
1, 2, 3.
Must be some welding torch in the Gundam that Amuro's been using.
Maybe. Yeah.
I had to go find it again.
Nice.
Oh.
A little too far ahead.
No, he still has the shield, so it's got to be after that.
Yeah.
This is when he goes in for the lunge. And then we have the first half of the shield.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is something very interesting, is that Amuro uses it shows that Amuro is thinking more tactically now, and that he's actually growing as a pilot. He uses his shield as a diversionary tactic to go to the next clip, so that he can use the upper half to block him jumping up in the air, block his view, so that he can come down on the goof. So that we have that scene where he cuts down on the goof.
Yeah, right. Because he's got to work around the projectile, for lack of a better word, that's coming toward him.
Yes,
That's a good point. Very good point.
So I mean, it shows that that comment by Ramba saying you have nothing but your mobile suit's abilities to rely on. That's not entirely true. Amuro is growing. He's developing. He is becoming a better pilot. And this right here shows
But at the same time, though, it cuts home. It cuts deep for Amuro.
Oh yes, it's a pride thing.
Whether or not it's true or not doesn't change the fact that that sort of psychological attack on him can be just as devastating.
Yeah.
If nothing else, we've shown that Amuro is prone to questioning himself.
You are your worst critic.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have someone that amplifies that that self-criticism, it kind of does eat away at you. And I mean, we're now going from Amuro thinking that he's the best to that criticism and that seed of doubt planted by Ramba.
Right. It's there's been more than one adage in history. Like, if you give your enemy equivalent equipment and they defeat you, were you truly superior?
Yeah. And I mean, Ramba has shown that he is an old-fashioned warrior.
Yeah, and a man of honor.
Yes.
Both in respecting the neutrality of the town and in fighting relatively fairly with Amuro,
as well as allowing an obvious federal soldier to walk away while in a neutral country.
So yeah, let me pull this out. Fenrir sadly wasn't able to make it today, but he was able to give us some thoughts of his own. And so I was just going to read a little bit of this off. Let's see. So he believes that Amuro is totally not to blame, but he's putting the blame more on Bright. How Bright's biggest mistake is that he's not given Amuro any guidance or training. And with him being so young and inexperienced, he needs a crash course on how to be a soldier, mentally and physically. Which, he's not entirely wrong, but at the same time, the white base doesn't have anyone who can do that. Certainly not yet, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the white base is... The whole reason the white base is where it is right now is a diversionary tactic to divert the Zeon's attention away from the main force that's going to attack Odessa and to disrupt supply lines to draw resources away from the main defense of the coming battles.
Real quick, Wake Down is dropping by. I'm glad to see you're doing better, and you're staying active to any extent, and happy to have you stopping by.
Hey, Wake Down.
All right, so we had a special treat at the end of this episode now. this thing that we talked about.
I'm gonna let Ironcaster show that, but he can mute the music, and we can at least get the dancing.
Okay, let me pull this up.
And this is apparently a combination of all of his dances. It's not just the one.
Okay, so it's like a medley.
Yeah.
So, yep, this is a...
Make sure to mute it.
Oh, I did not even share the audio.
Ah, okay.
Oh, God. Wow. Oh, my God. This is impressive. All right. Oh, he's flipping through them really fast, too. Okay. Oh, jeez.
That is really impressive.
Yes, that is.
I'm gonna copy that link, and we're gonna...
I love how you can see that he's got the double-sided tape under the beat. Nice. This is fantastic.
Well, the person that did this, way to go.
Oh my god. Oh god, Thriller. Yes, it's perfect. Oh, you got to clip this part. Oh my god. Yes, clip this part alone for use in something this month. That is freaking perfect. Oh god, that's so good. That's oh, come on.
Oh God, there's so many so many you could do this with.
This is smooth too. Like the transition from dance to dance is there it is. Yep. Oh my god, this is fantastic.
Actually, look at his feet a little bit. You can see that that parts of the feet kind of segment.
Yeah, the G40, I believe is the G40 kit has the extra joints in the toes. That give
Oh
it this
yeah,
extra amount of articulation. Very nice kit. I don't own it, but it is a pretty nice kit, despite the design changes that I'm not too huge a fan of. Yeah, wake down. That's probably a good idea. I would
Oh.
I would definitely want some of this. It's so good. I've still gotta film some other clips. But yeah, I wouldn't argue if this made its way into that intro.
Not at all.
Oh my god, that was
Oh,
look at that. That's so good.
I am definitely gonna
jeez.
like this user's video.
Yeah, put that. Yeah, that's gotta be shared. That's gotta be shared
Yeah,
on Twitter.
yeah, absolutely. Oh man. Oh, it's 5 whole minutes. Nice. That's super impressive.
That's like five straight minutes of this.
I mean, we've already gone through most of the iconic dance sequences.
Yeah.
That's good. I like it.
Yeah, I got that posted.
Nice.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, we're still in 91. Wow, yeah, you get a lot in 91. That's right.
Oh yeah, he was really active back then.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like the peak of his career almost. Well, the 80s, early 90s, yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be the 80s, and yeah, the 80s was probably the biggest era from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of this is kind of derivative of older stuff, but I mean, as soon as you get like past Thriller and Billie Jean and
Yeah,
Smooth Criminal, those are really the ones that and can't get
and
enough.
beat it.
Yeah, Bad's another one. Yeah, although we've already gone past like the peak of what he's done. But anyway, I got to dip out, you guys.
There's still a minute left too.
Right.
Well, save the last minute or so for checking out after the show.
Yeah,
But what was that you were getting ready to say?
I got to dip out.
Okay. Yeah, we'll wrap up. I guess we wrap up here real quick. You want to promote yourself, then head out?
Sure. I will be on Rogue Squadron here in probably like 15 minutes, and then I will be doing my Gunpla build stream at 9:00 Eastern. I'll be continuing the 172nd Liger Zero build for another hour, and then I will be on Nick Weiser's Toxic Tuesday, where we'll be discussing Desperado. And then tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, I will be doing my 400 subscriber celebration stream on YouTube and Twitch, playing Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon from start to finish, provided I can get everything to work.
All right. That sounds like fun. I'm going to have to be checking it out for you tomorrow, so I'll be looking out for you. Yep. All right. And have a good one. I'll catch you later.
See you around, brightest day.
Bye, guys.
What about you, Chris? Was there anything special going on besides, the 540 Studios, this kind of general? Okay.
Yeah, so far, it's just the Beyond show. Jace has talked about maybe doing some review shows of various Halloween themed or slasher haunted stuff for the coming weeks. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. I mean, I think we were talking about looking at The Crow later this year.
Yeah,
or later this month, really.
I actually still need to because he wants a list of things that we could possibly review, and I need to make a list because it's been kind of a busy couple days.
So yeah, I would probably recommend for a couple of shows, a couple of movies, and anyone in the chat's free to suggest any. I'd say the Crow and Halloween.
Yes. Jace has already got The Crow and Halloween down on his list. I've even mentioned Trick or Treat.
Okay, you gotta go for the anthology that Halloween was supposed to be.
Yes. Trying to think of other things that could possibly be done. I know some of the stuff that I'm thinking of is dipping into the child-friendly realm. So like, God, what is it? Now my mind also went blank about some of the stuff I was thinking about last night before I went to bed. But
this stuff will come.
Yes. Oh, actually, I just remember one of them was when Good Ghouls Go Bad, one of the movies that you and I were talking about.
Oh yeah. Where Christopher Lloyd's a zombie.
Yes, he is. Though it's still like a fun movie with a nice, some nice spooky effects in it. Because I mean, like,
it had Disney money behind it at least.
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw the villain of the movie, you first see him after he rises from the dead, it's just like, oh my god! When I first saw that years when I was a little kid, that terrified me.
I'd also suggest, just because like Halloween Town.
That's always a classic, but Jace is not into that kind of thing, unfortunately. He is not into child-friendly movies.
So I need to kind of wrap up. I've been downing some coffee, and so I want to wrap up quick. I'm like, this is hurting me a lot more than hurting you to wait this.
Well, let's do a quick talk about Hamlet.
Wherefore dost thou torture mine soul?
Let's do a quick dive through each chapter.
I have tomorrow. The plan is going to be to delve back into some horror as well, and I'm going to be finally playing some Resident Evil if all goes according to plan.
Nice. I unfortunately have never actually played any of the Resident Evil games.
Oh, so it could be your turn next year to do that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But till next time, guys, let's head out.
See.